Hi, this is Pete with Wrap My Spyder. Today we're going to show you an application video for a new kit that we have for the 2020 Can-am Spyder RT. This particular kit is called the Widow's Diner, and it is pretty cool because when we're done it's going to be a ghost effect. So very subtle until you get it outside in direct sunlight. Will you really be able to see the imagery. So it allows the color of the bike to influence the graphic. So if you're looking for a subtle graphic and you like a theme like this, it might be one you want to consider. No doubt there's going to be many more options coming as time progresses based on customer request. So to get started, just a few reminders about surface prep. Of course, you always want to be applying your wraps or graphics in a controlled environment. Typically we're recommending 65 degrees or warmer. Best to be out of the dust and debris so you can be sure that you don't have contamination underneath your graphics by the wind or dust blowing around. We cover this in most every video that we shoot. Just real quick surface prep. You want to make sure that there's no silicone-based products on the surface or wax. If you had your Spyder professionally ceramic coated, then this option is out for you. Ceramic coating that you buy at, or ceramic wax I should say, that you buy at Walmart or other places, that you should still be okay there. You can test your surface with the masking tape tests that we always talk about. So as always, we're recommending the 70% rubbing alcohol in conjunction with the paper towel, kitchen paper towel. Typically, most everybody has that in their kitchen on a roll. But you're going to wipe the surface down just before application. Check that surface with the masking tape. So put masking tape down, pull it up. If you get good resistance like that, you know you're ready to apply. If you don't, then you need to continue prepping that surface. Like I said, if you had professional ceramic coat, this is not an option for you. So for this particular material, because it's going to be a ghost effect and it's going to allow the color of the bike to have a big impact on it, you apply it wet. So we've covered wet application in some of our paint protection videos, so we're going to have you refer to that. If you have questions about the mix, let us know and we would be happy to go over that with you before you start. And chances are we will associate that video on the product page when this becomes available on the website. So to get started, again, the surface has been prepped, it's ready to go. These are pre-cut panels, so it's made to fit within the parameter of the body lines, which really helps you as far as positioning is concerned. And it's nice because with this kit you're going to float it into place, so very user-friendly in a sense that you're going to be able to move it around to get it exactly where you want it. So when you're working with these graphics, you want to make sure that your hands are wet before you peel the backing off. So as you peel the backing off, we're always recommending that you keep the product wet. So you're just going to slowly wet it and continue to take it off, get it wet, and that way you're not getting fingerprints on that surface. So we have it peeled. I just have it face down. We're going to flip it over. That's the adhesive side, and of course you can see how we can slide it around, which is great because then you can get positioning exactly where you want it, making sure you get it to fall within the body lines as you desire. And if your slip mix is right, you have quite a bit of time. You also want to watch the surround around that emblem. That's a good indicator too, because you want to try to keep it proportional to the best you can on each side, as well as this body line on the sides as well. And then look up look up each side, and you can see that you've got the same gap going up each side. That's also a way to tell that you've got it into position. So right about there looks good. So with this, you're going to start in the middle and work your way to the top and bottom, slowly working out that slip mix. And once you get it tacked into place, then you can start, using a little bit heavier pressure. But basically, you're working from the middle to the outsides. Now you can see how the color of the bike has an influence on this. It's a subtle graphic. It's not made to like jump out on you. If it was produced on, say, white, that would really show up. Big contrast, which it is available on our standard film as well. Now when you work to these little indents here, you want to work down in and then up to out to the top side. It's not uncommon to have some fingers. Don't panic, that's normal. You're going to continue to work the film into place so you have the ability to pick it up and do so. Now, as we get down towards the bottom, we intentionally left this open on purpose, and that's to help us with the application. Because if it was closed, it would make it much harder. All right. So, we're continuing to squeegee, working the film into place. What we're going to do, because of the shape of this frunk, we may need a little bit of heat, which is not a problem because you can still use heat in conjunction with having it wet. So what we're going to do is we're going to warm this area right here just to help it soften, to help it to lay down. And sometimes just a little bit of light heat is all you need to soften the film. And you can use it in conjunction with the moisture, which really makes it nice. But this will help us to be able to work this film into position. Let's give that a try. So you can put a little tension on there, pulling it down to help, just like our paint protection film, to help it lay down. And you're squeegeeing from where it's tacked in the middle down into the outsides. And don't forget, if you need to, you can just pull it back up and work it into position. And we're going to warm right here. I'm basically warming just this section that's still up, just to soften the film. This is a combination of two products, the wrapping film, and then it has a top protective laminate on it to protect your image. So a combination of two films to make one product. So it's a little bit thicker because of being transparent. And then if you just take and put some pressure on it and pull it down, it'll already help you to pull those fingers out. And then you can, just by warming it just enough, it's going to soften it to allow you to get it into position. So it takes a little bit of finesse, but certainly nothing crazy. And you're going to go back up to any little fingers that would have lifted, because you're going to have those because you're wet applying. So just keep moving on. Don't, if you get that kind of stuff here, a little finger here, some up here, leave it because it's going to tack up, and then when you go back and squeegee it, it will lay down. So no problem. We'll move on to here. Again, same thing. We're working that water out, up and over. You can even take it, put a little stretch on it and help it. And you can see it's releasing the water Same thing here. We're probably going to warm that. But it's a unique effect. We've had people ask for a ghost effect, and really what ghost means is that it's very subtle in appearance. It doesn't, jump out at you, so to speak. And a lot of people like that look because you do have to kind of look twice. And you'll see when we're done, this has the same impact visually as, say, custom paint. With a fraction of the cost, of course. So we're just warming the film. We're going to put a little pressure on it. And then I'm going to put a little water on it to help keep it slippery. We can let it tack up a little more. So by putting that pressure right there, that'll help pull the film out, and it helps it to fall into place. Get this a little warmer right here. There it is. That way we can make sure our... But see, applying that heat helps those fingers. Let's see. Helps those fingers. So if you do have one, see, I have a little finger that stayed up top. That's the cool thing about wet applying is you can just pick your edge, pick it back up. We're going to warm it. Had like a little bit of a bunch, but this is good because then you can see how to address it. So we warmed it, and then we squeegeed out, and it's completely gone again. So that's good. Again, the film is recoverable, so that's the nice advantage about working with this film. You've got way more than one attempt to get it right. So because of the shape of the frunk, you've got a curve going this way and kind of a curve going this way. It's a little bit of a challenge, but if you just take your time, and if you have to, like I said, pick up and recover. And if you have those fingers, don't worry about them, because they're going to lay down. They're going to lay down over time. So we're just going to leave those, and I'll show you how to bump too. So you got a little bunch there, and that was the first section we put down, but just wet your fingers, wet the surface, pick it up to there. And of course, warming it is going to help you. Pull it out. And see, by putting some stretch on it, it'll lay that little wrinkle out so that it's nice and flat. So chances are, if you do get a wrinkle, it's going to be on an edge. So you have the ability to pick it up. So yep, you have a few there. That's normal. It's part of wet application. Don't panic. I'm going to just dry it a little. We'll have finished pictures as well. But I figured I'll show you this and then we'll move on to the side pieces. So, not necessarily for everyone, but it's the film. that we like to feature because that's allowing the color of the bike to continue to show. So cool effect. All right, so we have basically the frunk. When we do frunk wraps, it's going to consist of the three pieces, the center, and then this little arrow, and that side as well. So we can put that on. And these for alignment are not super hard either. So same thing, you peel it off the paper, wetting it. And that way it'll help you to slide it and get it into position. Alignment, you're going to use the top leading edge and the back. So get into position where you like it. You can pretty much center it. And if you have an image that carries over, then try to do your best to connect it. When you squeegee it, you got to start out real light. Start in the middle and work some of that water out. If you want to, you can reposition it. Basically, we're in the middle and working our way top and bottom. But a really unique look. We'll probably have quite a bit of graphics that could be used on the 20 and 21 RT in this material to allow, a more subtle look. There's that panel. We will come to the other side. Show you application over here. I'm going to wet it. Grab the next panel, which is going to be the other side of what we just put on. I'm going to wet it. And like we said, for alignment, back edge, leading edge, you've got, wiggle room. Get it. Try to get the little flex out of it. And you can see, you can slide this around for a long time. Until it starts to tack a little. There it is. And we'll just look at each side. Make sure you like it. Probably could move it up just a hair in the front if we were nosing it up a little bit. So I'm going to pick it back up, a little water on it. This is the cool thing, see? Hold it in place where we want it, and then squeegee the water out again. Because this is going to take a few days to tack up. But the more you get the water out on your initial squeegee, the quicker it'll help it to set to take its permanent bond. Very cool. And now we have the panel that we call the intake panel. And we incorporated a little bit of text in here. So intake panel is right here. So again, keep your fingers wet in the panel as well. And then peel it off and basically the same process all over again. But wet applying, as you can see, is very forgiving. And so that makes, you know, your installation a little bit easier for folks that want more time when they're installing. So we'll drop it on. And these are all pre-cuts. You really shouldn't have to trim. They actually fit quite nice. Get it to the edge of the panel. So here you're following the leading edge and the point, and you can also watch as it goes up and over the intake panel itself where the hole is. Once you have it where you want it, start out light tack, and then once you get it a little bit tacked, then you can increase on your pressure. But if you push too hard initially, a lot of times it'll move on you. So start off gently and light, and then you can increase your pressure as you're squeegeeing. Again, this one is called Widow's Dinner. And special thanks to Dale and Linda, who allowed us to use their bike for a lot of templating and product featuring. So we really appreciate their generosity in allowing us to use their machine. So, and basically that is the process for wet applying. And let's talk about bumping real quick. So bumping the edges helps to take the moisture out of the section where you have little fingers. So let's see. See the couple fingers right there? If you take a dry paper towel and wrap it around your squeegee, so here's your squeegee. We're not going to use the felt edge, we're going to use a sharp edge. Take paper towel, put it around it. Now when you're bumping, you bump from on the panel, off the panel, then lift up and come back. You don't go back and forth over top of it, or you'll pick it up, or it'll grab the fibers on the adhesive, and then you've got adhesive showing. So you put it down and push off, and then lift up, and then push off. Same thing. So it can take a little bit, you know, to bump, but what's happening is it's pushing the moisture out into the paper towel, which will just help the edges lay down quicker. And that may take, you know, a number of tries. Don't get too carried away and feeling that you have to make it lay down immediately. You can continue on with your install and then come back and bump. And as an example, if something's a little stubborn, you can take a little bit of light heat and put a little bit of light heat on it. And a lot of times, you know, that's enough. So you can see, you know, we bump those edges and now they're down. Typically they stay down, but if it pops up again, it's not, you know, not the end of the world. Just put a little heat on it and re-squeegee it down. But let's take a look at the 2020 RT Widow's Dinner frunk wrap. We actually made a whole kit for the bike, which we will have pictures on the website. But just to kind of give you an idea, being that it's transparent, it is a very subtle effect, but has a really cool impact visually. And no doubt it would be mistaken for custom airbrush, for sure. So we hope that this video proves helpful for you. And like I said, with wet application, requires a little bit of patience, but if you just take your time, maybe have someone there to help you out, you can have some really cool results. So again, this is Pete with wrapmyspyder.com. We were wet applying a 2020 Can-am Spyder RT front end wrap as part of the complete wrap for the kit that's called Widow's Dinner. So if you have questions, shoot us an email, sales@wrapmyspyder.com. Feel free to give us a call with any questions. And this is Pete with wrapmyspyder.com, and thanking you for taking the time to watch this application video. We certainly hope that it proves helpful for you.